Salim, and welcome to episode number 9 of the Life Review Podcast. I am your host, Indra Ali. This podcast was created to promote you to review your life while you're still in the present. And you do that by asking yourself 3 questions. Am I fulfilling my purposes, living my purposes, learning life lessons, and overcoming spiritual blocks? This podcast is dedicated to promoting for you to ask yourself that on an everyday basis, not just when you transition or what many people call death. So we're going to get into the intro, and I'll be right back, and we'll get right into the program. All right, welcome back to Life Review Podcast. I am your host, Indra Ali. Want to shout out my moderator, Son Saray, in the chat room. As always, if you'd like to be a guest for a one-on-one mini consultation, make sure to email us at thelifereviewpodcast@gmail.com. That's thelifereviewpodcast@gmail.com. Ask your question, make sure it's personal, and then Son Saray will give you the link to join me on the broadcast. This show is broken up into 3 segments. The first segment is I'll share some information with you for you to meditate on and put it information to gain your own truth. The second part is we have many one-on-one consultations. And the third part is the rapid Q&A where you ask questions in the chat and I'll give you an answer to the best of my ability. Every week I have a topic, a one-word topic, and today is 2023. Obviously, this year is 2023. And let me say this. It doesn't matter if you say the Gregorian calendar is erroneous and this isn't really 2023 and Jesus never or before Christ never existed. All that stuff doesn't matter. Like I shared with my people in the email, in the Spiritual Daily Wisdom email, this is a consensus reality. Therefore, if most people agree that this is 2023, then guess what? It's 2023. Just like most people would say that this is Sunday. So the energy of Sunday is prevalent at these times. So don't get caught up, especially when you get into the occult. We like to be cute and say, oh, well, the new year actually begins in spring, my brother. And how can something be new if it's dying and all this cute stuff? And I'm not saying that's wrong, but I'm saying if you go and ask 100 people what today is, they're going to say January 1st, 2023. They're not going to say, oh, it's 2019 or something like that. They're going to say it's 2023. So with that being said, this year, 2023, we don't deal with the energy of this year. And like I said, if you want to say that it's not officially the new year, then that's on you. But most people would agree that this is 2023. A plus degree to that is that's why astrology works for most people. Doesn't matter if you study sidereal astrology or Vedic astrology, or you study Western astrology, which most people are used to, because most people agree that is the date, because most people agree that I'm a Capricorn, I'm a Gemini. That's the reason why that stuff works. If you don't believe in it, it's not going to affect you just as much. Just like with Mercury retrograde. When Mercury is in retrograde, a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that they shouldn't sign contracts and that short distance travel may be interrupted and all the things dealing with Mercury retrograde. So it becomes real in their reality. But if you are oblivious of it, I'm not saying you're not going to be affected by it, but it's not going to be so much in the forefront where you're subconsciously, and that's the key, where you're subconsciously having that energy prevent you from doing things. Once again, I'm not saying it's real or fake. I'm just giving you a different vantage point to look at. Me personally, I don't follow any planetary alignments and I'm going to move this way because Jupiter is in this house and stuff like that. Not saying it ain't real. I just know and understand that we are gods on this planet, and whatever we adorn things to be as far as that is going to be what it is. So if you're a magician, you're a sorcerer, if you're a wizard and you're a witch and you know how to manipulate the planets, keyword manipulate, that's not a bad word. If you know how to manipulate the planets, then you can move accordingly and have these things work for you and or against you based on your will. So that's a long way of saying, man, if you believe in this stuff, it works for you. If you don't believe in it, it may not work for you. but I want to give you some information or some outformation that's going to really help you, get it in this year. I'm not big on setting New Year's resolutions and big on saying that, oh, this is the year I'm gonna do this. But I want to give you some information based on the energy that's going to be prevalent to help you tap into this thing. So when we look at 2023 in numerology, we take all the numbers and put it together and come up with a single digit number. Of course, we have things like master numbers and stuff like that. But for the sake of this as exercise, I want you to break this down to one single digit. Even a master number 11 is a 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. A master number 22 is a 4. 2 plus 2 is 4, and so forth and so on. So even a master number at the end of the day are a single digit. And I'll say this about that. There are only truly 9 single digits, really 10 single digits, and that's 0 through 9. Every other number can be condensed or broken down to a single digit. So this year is 2023, and let's go through this thing real quick. And remember, if you want to join me for the next segment, the Life Review Podcast at gmail.com. Make sure to email us as soon as possible so I know that you're on and we can get this thing moving pretty streamlined. So 2023, when you break it down, it's a 7 universal year. How do we know that? 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. Very simple. If y'all know anything about me, I'm going to keep this dumb simple. It doesn't matter if you like math or deal with numerology. This thing is going to work for you. So this is a 7 universal year. So let's look at each number individually and see what makes up the actual number 7. You have the 2 repeated twice. You have the number 0 and you have the number 3. So let's go through those individually and then see how the energy is collectively. The 2 represents partnership. It's the first business number along with 4 and 8. It also represents dependence. It represents emotions. It represents the female energy. When you look at it, 1 is man. That's why 1 is shaped like a phallus, a male phallus. 2 is the female energy, 1 plus 2, and then 3 is the child. So 2 is the feminine or nurturing or motherly principle. Also, 2 is ruled by the moon. If you know anything about astrology, the moon is represented by the mom, moon, mom, and those are synonymous or whatever. So the 2 is an emotional energy, it's a nurturing energy, it's a female energy, and it's also a very receptive energy. The number 0, or the lack thereof 0, represents the void, represents spirituality, and it represents possibilities. Because when you look at any number, if you put a 0 in front of it, everything comes out of 0. Where did 1 come from? It came out of 0. 0 gives birth to all the other numbers. 0 is the void. It represents possibilities. If you want to look at it on a metaphysical and occult level, the 0 represents the ethers or the heavens or the void. Then obviously you have the number 2 again, 202, and I already told you what 2 means. And then we end with the number 3. The number 3 represents fun, entertainment, expansion, communication. That's a very jovial number. It's a very childish number as well. If you know somebody with a lot of 3 energy, they can be very motivational, which is another key word, but they can also on the shadow end be kind of childish or whatever, even a braggart or whatever. So 2023, when you put all that together, represents the number 7. 7 represents spirituality. It represents meditation. It represents introspection. It represents spirituality. It represents being alone, etc., etc. So when you look at 2023, the number 7 in this year, what I say when you put all that together, if you're following me, there's going to be a lot of emotional upheavals. I wouldn't be shocked if you see groups of people doing some emotional things where they're kind of like losing their mind, where they're not thinking rationally. Also, you may see a lot more spiritual related businesses come to the forefront, and you also may see more feminine led businesses coming to the forefront. You cannot discount two 2s and a 7 all in the number. That's a very feminine energy. That's a very motherly energy. It's a very nurturing energy. So I would see more people probably even caring for each other more. You know what I'm saying? Like looking at other people and like, man, I want to help that person out and so forth and so on. Also, you may see a lot more groups dealing with female related issues. This could be like breast cancer awareness and stuff like that. Things with childhood pregnancy or underage girls being pregnant. And when I say underage, like under 18, you may see more groups dealing with spiritual related ideals and procedures as well. So these are groups dealing with just spiritual gatherings more so, and also any businesses dealing with spirituality and group related stuff. So that's on a collective scale when you look at the 2023 and the number 7 on a grand scale throughout the planet. So next, I want to give you, because that's dealing with the collective, you have to see how your energy meshes with the 2023. So right now, what I want you to do is take your age, whatever age you are right now. If you're 30, I'm going to use that for example. If you're age 30, I want you to add your numbers together and reduce it to a single digit. So if you're 30, 3 plus 0 equals 3. Say you're 47, 4 plus 7 equals 11. Then you have to keep adding because it's still a double digit. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So 47 would become 2. So I want you to take your age right now and post it in the chat too. What is your personal year for this year? A lot of it is, and it's based on your age. So take your age, reduce it down to a single digit, put it in the chat to make sure that y'all follow me. And shout out to everybody in the chat as well. I see you, Jazz, Tanisha, Holistic, Great Gmo, Money Mind Manifest, Jackie. What up, y'all? I see Ma Dukes in the crib, Karen Pipkin, King Jewel, Peace to the God, see Diggs, Miss Necessary, Raw Frequencies, Stephanie McGee. I see y'all. We out here. Big Data, Big Fats, 36 would be 9. So 3 plus 6 is 9. So you're in a 9 personal year. So let me make sure y'all all getting your personal years. I see here 1s, I see 6s. All right. I will be turning 25 this year. So should I go by that? Go by what your actual age is. You're 24 now, so 2 plus 4 is 6. When it becomes 25, then it'd be 7. All right. So if you need help, just post it in the chat. I'm sure somebody can help you if you're not getting it. All right. So I want to go through it. I want to go through this real quick. And I want to tell you what you can focus on to tap into this 2023 year. And like I said, it doesn't matter what you think the year is. Most people think this is what it is. So this information will work for you if you work it. So if you're in a one personal year in this 2023 year, and this is your current age, I would recommend that you begin some sort of solo spiritual practice. 1 is a singular number, it's a dolo number, it's by yourself. 7 is a very independent number as well, it's a lonely by yourself number. So I recommend you doing some solo spiritual practices. So this could be meditation, this could be sex magic on the solo tip. You feel me? It could be Tai Chi, just any solo spiritual practice is what I recommend for that. If you have the number 2 as your personal year, I recommend that you do some spiritual activities with someone else. So like 1 may do sex magic by themselves. The 2 may want to do sex magic with someone else. Or you may want to meditate with another person. Or you may want to do Tai Chi or Qigong with another person. Or create sigils with somebody else. Spiritual practices in a partnership or doing it with someone else. That's for the number 2. Number 3, I recommend that you talk about your spirituality more. You can be in a place where everybody know you're spiritual and metaphysical, but you may not talk about it as much. In this year, I recommend that you talk about your spirituality more. Have fun with it. Just share things without people even asking. You feel me? So that's for the number 3. Number 4, I recommend that you research spiritual things, and especially female-related spiritual things. So maybe female gurus around the world, or issues dealing with females, female-related issues. It's a myriad of them. But just research. Number 4 likes to study and read things, likes to consume information. So consume information that relates to females, and or spirituality and metaphysics. Do that a lot more if you're a number 4. Number 5, travel to spiritual places. And this doesn't have to be you going across the country or going to a different planet or a different country. This could be literally in your crib, maybe visiting some mounds in your local area, or going to the Indian reservations, or going to more spiritual related events in your area. So just travel to more spiritual related places, or places where there's a lot of females or feminine energy. So that's for the number 5. Number 6, I recommend that you be a volunteer at a female shelter, or a volunteer where there's a lot of females at, or volunteer in a way that you're giving back and making yourself feel more spiritual. 6 is a number of service. You know, anybody with a lot of 6 in their energy, they're very much a helper. They're of service. It's also one of the numbers that deal with loss, because when you're giving, a lot of people who give, a lot of times the shadow part of that is they don't feel like when they need something, they get it. You know, a lot of you may relate to that. You feel like you help people, but when you need help, you don't get it. That's the 6 energy. It's all about giving back, similar to that 9 energy. So if you're in a number 6, if you have a 6 personal year, or your age is 6, make sure to be of service. Go to a shelter, go to a soup house or something, and just be a volunteer is another way of putting it. Number 7, I recommend you meditate more. Meditate a lot. You're a 7, especially if you have a life path 7, your personal year is 7, and this is a universal year 7. Make sure you are meditating more. You meditate for 30 minutes, maybe meditate 35 minutes a day. If you don't meditate at all, maybe start meditating. If you're already meditating, you're reaping a lot of benefits. You may also want to look into astral travel or astral projection. That's for the number 7. Also spend a lot of time alone. Really do some deep introspection in this year. You will be able to tap into levels of spirituality that one way if you focus on being very introspective, spend a lot of time with yourself, even in nature, and a lot of time in meditation. Number 8, start or frequent spiritual businesses, or businesses that are led by females. Number 8 is a very money, power, business energy. So if you have that number 8 as your personal year, make sure to frequent spiritual businesses and or start a spiritual business if it's something you've been thinking about. That's for the number 8. And lastly, number 9, and this may be one more of the difficult ones, because when you get to the 9, you're getting to the end. That's the completion. 1 through 8 was already prepping you for the number 9. So if you're in a 9 personal year in this universal year of 7, I recommend you end something that you know is holding you back spiritually. End something that you know is holding you back spiritually. And this is all predicated on how you feel. Can nobody tell you what you should quit? It might be you need to quit drinking. You may need to quit masturbating. You may need to quit smoking weed. You may need to quit smoking bogeys or cigarettes. You may need to quit procrastinating. What is holding you back spiritually? This is prime energy for you to give it up and quit altogether. All right. So once again, 1, if you're in a 1 person a year, and we're getting this by adding up our age. So take your age, add up the digits till you get to a single number. If you need help, post your age in the chat. I'm sure someone will help you. Ma Dukes, Karen Pipkin, 11 would be actually 2 in this example. All right. So if you're a 1, begin doing some solo spiritual practices. If you're a 2, do spiritual practices with a partner or someone else. 3, talk about your spirituality more with people and in groups as well. 4, research feminine, female issues or spiritual related issues more. 5, travel to spiritual places or metaphysical and occult places. When I say spiritual, I'm spiritual, metaphysical, and occult, all interchangeable from my standpoint. 6, volunteer at a female shelter or give back or be a donate, stuff like that. 7, meditate more or practice astral travel. 8, start or frequent more spiritual businesses or businesses led by females. 9, end something that's holding you back or preventing you from growing spiritually. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Put some information in the chat. One thing that you're going to focus on based on the information I'll share with you. what is one thing that you're going to focus on in 2023. All right. And I'm going to take a break. When we come back, if we have anybody that want to join us, the Life Review Podcast at gmail.com. Go ahead and hit us up. Put your questions. Since we're ready to give you the link to join me for a mini one-on-one consultation. If we don't have any callers, anybody calling in, I will go ahead and answer some questions from the chat. So I'll be back in about 1 minute. This is Indra Ali for the Life Review Podcast. We'll be right back. Yep. Back in the building. Indra Ali, the Life Review Podcast. As far as I see, we don't have any callers that want to join me. So the Life Review Podcast at gmail.com. So let's go ahead and pop some questions up. And you still have time to join. We got about 35 minutes. I'm going to wrap and kick it with y'all for a little bit longer. Shout out to everybody that's posting what they're going to focus on and concentrate on for this year. And let me say this too, as always, you want to follow your spirit. So if your spirit is telling you to do something otherwise, or you've had some signs and synchronicities, which are big indicators on what you should be focused on, then always you want to focus on that. Don't let your human intellect and your rational thinking, override what you're getting spiritually. Always follow the signs, synchronicities in your intuition. That's going to lead you right to where you need to go. More so than any astrology or numerology. This is helping people who are kind of confused on like, man, I don't really know what to focus on. This information should help you tremendously. All right. Somebody said they're going to continue working on stop smoking and eating unhealthy. Those are huge. Those are huge things. C. Des Christine. As a 4, I'll be focusing more on healing and meditation this year. That's beautiful. Jazz, what you got working on? Neurotheology. She hit you with the big words. Mental health and spiritual well-being. Those are actually beautiful things to work on in this day and time, period, but especially in this 2023 year. Astral travel, talking about spirituality. Somebody said myself, you know what I'm saying? That should be every year. You feel me? You should be working on yourself every year. You know what I'm talking about? Mind, body, spirit connection, holistic. Lots of spiritual activity. They said they live in the 7th house. Baby, we got any questions? You can go ahead and post and I'll see it. I'm just going through and looking to see what people are working with. Oh, somebody help Mrs. Pisces out as well, too. Put your age on there. Somebody help you out, yo. Okay. All right, got a first question. Does the personal year number start on 1/1 or on your actual birthday within that new calendar year? It'll be the actual age. That's why this system, the one I use, is way simple. What is your age right now? That would be your personal year. So if you turn to a different age, like for instance, I'm a perfect example. My birthday is in 3 days. So right now I'm 45. So 4 + 5 is 9. But here in a few days, I'll be 46. So 4 + 6 is 10. 1 + 0 is 1. So I'll go from a 9 to a 1. You feel me? Ma Duke says she's working on her strength. How much stronger can you get, Ma? You feel what I'm talking about? Shoot, you already Herculean out here in these streets. I love this, Jackie, Miss Jackie, volunteering with Women Military Veterans Group. That's beautiful, yo. Absolutely beautiful. Peace to the God, Kenneth Cooper. Make sure to check him out on YouTube as well. That's my people. All right, what else? What else? And also remember, if you want to join me, I don't know why y'all spook booing this AM. The Life Review Podcast at gmail.com. The Life Review Podcast at gmail.com. Even if you just want to share something, you can holler at me. Don't have to ask me a question. What up, Saran said personal year 2, working with someone else on my spiritual practices. Beautiful. And working on self as per usual. Sweet. Yeah, this person said this knowledge could be put in a book and sold. Thanks for the free game. For real, I used to teach this. I did a numerology course. I probably did about 5 or 6 cycles of this numerology course where I actually certified people in numerology with my system called Tahuti Numi or Tahuti Numerology. That's what gave you the book, Deity Linkage Manual, right there, which you can find on Amazon and L9shop.com, EL the number 9 shop.com. This information I actually did used to teach. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I usually give the numerology year every year or whatever. So I just want to do it on the podcast this year. You know what I'm talking about. All right, what else we got? Yep, my dude's birthday too, January 12th. My oldest son's birthday, January 18th. Shout out to Oz. He'll be 22 this year. That's the oldest one we have. All right, so we have any questions? I know somebody just emailed us as well to want to come on. You can come on through. Shout out to all 65 people watching this stream live. I appreciate you. Like I say all the time, I could record this dolo, you know what I'm saying, and pre-record it, but I'd rather talk to the people. That's why I offer to even talk to y'all one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, what are some rituals we can do to bring in peace and protection at this time? What are some rituals you can do to bring in peace and protection at this time? I would say more so, I'm gonna give you a non-traditional answer. I'm not gonna give you a ritual. I'm not gonna give you a tool. I'm gonna recommend that you work on peace in yourself and you work on protecting yourself. You work on peace in yourself. What is giving you peace? What is causing you not to have peace? Get rid of the things that's causing you not to have peace and work on the things that give you peace. What makes you feel unprotected? Get rid of the things that don't feel like they're hurting you and focus more on your protection. When you focus internally, then the external things have to fall in line. A lot of times we do this thing pimping backwards. We do the things externally and think it's going to help the internal, which it will. But the way to bypass and circumvent all of that BS is really work on yourself internally. By doing that, you don't feel like you need protection from something outside of you. By doing that, you don't feel like anything outside of you is going to disrupt your peace. I've been telling people this for a while now, ever since I tapped into it. No one can disturb my peace. No one can get me off my hookup. We had this situation the other day. We went to a restaurant. I'm not going to say what the restaurant was, but let's just say that it was busier than usual. We didn't get the service in in an expedient time, let's just put it like that. People were getting their food before us. But instead of getting mad and upset and acting real niggerly up in there, you know what I'm saying? Just stayed calm. And what happened was we got our appetizers, and then shortly after we got our main course. And we just looking like, man, we just got our appetizer. Long story short, because we didn't go crazy, because we was at peace, we didn't get offended and stuff like that. The manager just gave us the appetizers for free. But not letting anything outside of you disturb your inner peace. No matter what's going on, you have a choice to be peaceful internally. If you really tap into that, not just fake it till you make it, and I'm just going to chant this mantra for peace. When you really tap into that energy, nobody can disturb your peace, yo. I'm a walking and say, I used to flip out over the littlest things. You feel me? You bump me a little, I'm gonna give you back a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of person I was. You know anything about my math? Like, I'm born in the year of the dragon. The people born in that year typically overreact anyway, especially growing up in the environment I grew up, the childhood I had, the people I was around and stuff like that. It was conducive for me to pipe off all the time. I used to be that dude. I used to pipe up all the time and go off. Now that I'm older, now that I've worked on myself, I'm a lot more peaceful and calm and patient. When you do that, nobody can disturb your peace. I have example of this throughout my life where I've tapped into an inner peace where it works, yo. You just have to really put in the work, and it's deep work. It's really work. It's dealing with all your childhood issues. It's dealing with your upbringing, your neighborhood, your family, your friends, relationship. It's really dealing and deep digging through all the things that a lot of people don't want to work on, so they end up having more chaos in their life. You feel me? So let me bring my dude on. This is somebody I've had a pleasure of speaking to a few times, taking full advantage of me offering these 101s, yo. So I want to bring this dude on. Junkyard, peace to the God. What's good, Brody? Yo, Junkyard, you on, bro? You gotta unmute yourself, Junkyard. Yo, my man. Hey, yo, I don't think you hear me. So I want to bring this dude on. Junkyard, peace to the God. What's good, bro?
Indeed, peace to the God. How you doing?
All is well, always, bro. What's good? Yo, Junkyard, you on, bro?
Is my mic working? Hold on.
You on delay mode. Do what you have been, bro. You done called in before.
Yes, sir. Still can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Good.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I can't hear myself. It's kind of bugging me out. But anyway.
Don't worry about it, bro. You can. I can hear you.
Peace to the God. How you doing?
Always, bro. Always, bro. It's good.
No, what I had the question or even the comment. Well, the question I was going to ask you answered it before I even asked it. The issue that I'm dealing with currently is that like I have a family member, a pretty important family member who's about to transition. She's in the hospital right now. And it's like, the family, that side of the family, you know what I mean? Like they some knuckle draggers and all this, that, and the third. And my question is, or my question was rather, like, how do you stay centered and grounded like during a situation like that? Because it's some ignorant stuff going on at a quote unquote black funeral. And like I said, I already know, I've already spoken to another family member, and she brought it up before I did. She was like, it's gonna be some shit at this funeral, you know what I mean? Pardon the language and whatnot, but yeah, it's gonna be some shit, So how does one find that peace or attain that peace that you're supposed to operate in when somebody really probably should get an overdue ass whooping? That's the question.
All right. For one thing, you have to move according to your standards and your rules. Like me personally, I don't participate in funerals. Hold on, I'm at the mute you, bro. You on super delay, and I can hear myself. I just mute you, but just listen to me. Yeah, I'm trying to mute you. Keep yourself muted. Um, you choose to participate in going to funerals, weddings, graduations, etc. If going to a funeral disturbs your peace, then you can choose not to go to a funeral. I made a vow some years ago that I was only going to go to 2 funerals if they had them, if it happened. And that was my father, peace and bless be upon him, which I did attend his funeral. It's probably the 3rd funeral I ever been to in my life. And my mother, if she chooses to have a funeral, I would go to her funeral, obviously. Those are the only 2 people's funeral. I would never go to another person's funeral. I don't believe in going there because I know it's for the living. That's my perspective. That's my vantage point, and that's my prerogative. Shout out to Bobby Brown. You feel me? Like, you don't have to go to no one's funeral. Now, if there's a backlash, because I've had it happen, like, peace and blessings be upon my best friend. When I didn't go to his funeral, I had a couple people, they were looking at me like, hey, I can't believe you're not going. But I was at peace with my decision. I know funerals are more so for the living. They're not for the people who transition. And you said it, and I agree with you, especially a black funeral. It's some unmitigated niggardry and tomfoolery at them joints. You feel me? They go crazy. Like, you calm and peaceful on the drive there. But so when you get there, oh my God, hooping and hollering and showing out and doing the most. I've seen that story. You know what I mean? I choose not to participate in it. So you have to make a pimp's decision and be like, I'm either going to participate in this or not participate in it. And that's your right. And you have to be at peace with that. I'm at a point now where I can go to a funeral and be A1, but I choose not to participate in that ritual because I know it's for the living. You know what I'm saying? I'm comfortable with that. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. I'm at peace with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, he on delay mode.
Like a Tyler Perry movie.
Right.
I choose not to participate in that ritual, but I know it's for the living. You know what I'm saying? I'm comfortable with that. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. I'm at peace with it.
Right. No, that's that's good advice though, because I like in my situation, like most star seeds, you had the early family trauma. My mother didn't raise me, so the proverbial mother that I'm talking about, or the person I'm talking about, is my mother. You know what I mean, my auntie or whatever. But so I think it's expected of me to be there. You know what I mean? But like I said, I know it's gonna be some unadulterated niggertry going on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to, because me and my wife at this point, we're kind of like, you know what? We're gonna have to, use a lot of icy hot in case somebody got to get swung on a couple times. I'm as namaste as the next person, but hey, man. A few of these people need, you know what I'm saying? They need that.
Yeah, that's on you, bro. So if someone else expected, that's on them. What do you expect of yourself? That's the bigger question. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be at peace with it at the end of the day. So yeah, you on delay mode, bad Brody. So I'm gonna keep it pushing, but I appreciate you calling in. Next time you call in, do it like you have been before, because it ain't been delayed, bro. All right. You won't get that message late, Brody, but peace and love and all that good stuff. All right, I'm gonna bring on the next person. Mel, you're live on the Life Review podcast. What's going on?
Hey, Ali, I'm just trying to take full advantage because I appreciate you doing this. I'm a coach as well. So you're motivating me to do exactly what I want to do, which is what you're doing. I just don't have the number of followers to premiere it, which is why I haven't. But I am very happy you're doing this. What I wanted to say is,
hold on. Let me stop you right there real
okay.
quick. You didn't even ask a question, but my spirit's telling me to say this. It don't matter the number of followers. And I know you didn't say this, just bear with me. The number of quote unquote followers and subscribers, you all of that stuff doesn't matter. You can have 10 people that rock with you, and those 10 people will be more powerful than 100 people that are just looking at you like a fishbowl. You feel me? If you notice, this certain amount of people had actually take advantage of speaking to me one-on-one, who take advantage of my services. For the most part, most people just watch like a fishbowl. There's like 57, 60 something people on here. I'm not going to hear from most of these people, and they're not going to leave something in the chat. So the number does not matter. A solid group of 10, 5, or 3 is more powerful than 100 passive people.
I hear you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. So typically I work out things on my own during the different methods that I know how to do. So I guess I'm just processing this, not much of a question, just processing something. So since I started my journey, I've evolved, and I know that I'm a great person. Like, compared to how I used to be, I'm a great person. So I know for me to continue to evolve, a lot more changes are going to happen in me. And the more I change, the less others seem to relate to me, right? So for me to evolve, I'm sensing that I've developed this ego attaching myself to me at this level. How do I let go of that?
I'm big on, well, I know that's what helped me. I'm just going to share what helped me. At first, I was big on what you call spiritual milestones. The first time you get deep into a meditation, the first time you have a lucid dream, the first time you do magic and it actually works, the first time you connect with an ancestor on an altar, the first time you feel the energy of a deity, all these things, and you become attached to it. And what helped me was detaching myself from it and not being married to things that already happened. It was a process. I'm not going to say it was something that happened overnight, but I realized that I was not those experiences. And to do you one better, what if those things never happen? Does that mean that I'm not, going further down my path? So I stopped viewing external things as milestones and as a report card, like a spiritual report card. Like, we all have these spiritual report cards. You know what I'm saying? Like, hashtag that. You feel me? Where we feel like, oh, I get an A in this, I get a B in this. Remember, the spiritual path is a spiral. And as long as, I'm going to say what I say to my children, as long as you're doing your best and putting forth your best effort, then let that be your barometer. So it doesn't matter what happens, it matters the effort you put in. So in this example, you can do something, say you meditated for 5 minutes and you had a tremendous experience. After tremendous experience, the effort on you only doing it for 5 minutes should be more focused on. Was that the best you could have did at the time? And on the flip side of that, what if you went in for 30 minutes, you had nothing happen, but your effort was strong, your intent was strong. So I would focus more on my intent and my effort as opposed to what happens by way of that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let that be my barometer. I'm telling you something I do for sure. Because at this point, I don't have as many quote unquote experience. I've had more experience that I care to share because people wouldn't believe me. If I really shared all my experience, you'd be like, man, this nigga lying. You feel me? Like, you really think I'm bugging. But I have way more experiences early on than afterwards. And what the spirit told me is, a lot of times you have to have experience so you believe it. When you meet angels and when you have certain magical and spiritual things, it's for you to believe that it's real. But once you know it's real, then why do you need to be told? Why do I need to tell you every day you're a woman when you already know that to be true? We need to get, in my opinion, we need to divorce all these experiences and more so focus on our intent and effort.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Peace. Okay. All right. Give me some more questions in the chat. If you want to come on the Life Review Podcast at gmail.com. The Life Review Podcast at gmail.com. Yeah, Saran, that's a word. What matters is the effort and intent. And I understand too, like, some of my answers may not be popular. It may not be what you want to hear. But if I continue to perpetrate the same thing that everyone else is saying, man, like, I'm not going to see as many people grow. It's the people that go off the beaten path that do things that aren't common. You feel me? I say this all the time. Spirituality, you can research everything on Google. Hell, you can go to Wikipedia and it's going to tell you the blueprint to gain spirituality and to gain light. If all this information is readily available, then why do you not see more people who are enlightened and spiritually mature? Why? We're in the information age or out of the information age. I say we're more in the social media age, which is a whole nother topic. But if we are in this information age or came out of the information age, then why are more people not enlightened? Why are not more people spiritually mature? It's because it has nothing to do with the information or the outformation. You have to internalize it and make this thing your own. What helped me, and I can only talk about what helped me, was I didn't follow and listen to people and take everything they say as face value. You know what I mean? One of my biggest role models as far as spirituality is Dr. Gibson. I don't agree with everything he says, but I don't disagree with everything he says. It may work for him and the people following him. I have to find what works for me. And all my revelations and all my things that I've come about that's really helped me are the things that came internally. I'm not saying it wasn't echoed by Panic or Dr. Gibson or Dr. Valentine or brother Bobby Hemmett or et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying those brothers and sisters didn't share the same things, but ultimately it was my own truth, my own realization that helped propel me to where I'm going and to where I've been. You know what I'm saying? This is a solo thing, man. We get too fixated on this work for that person, so let me try it as well. It may work for you, it may not work for you. You want to get to the point where the way you move, you don't have to see other people move that way. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? The example I use is like with the mask and the so-called COVID joint, man. I was cool. I ain't want to wear that joint. I ain't see the reason for it. Nobody could give me a good enough reason for me to put a fabric over my face. You know what I'm saying? So I felt I moved accordingly. I didn't care if people looked at me crazy. I followed my own spirit. Now in hindsight, I believe I was on the, you know what I mean, the right side, you know, based on the evidence and based on what came about. So you got to move to the beat of your own drum and find what works for you. It's a punchline to take away from that. You feel me? So a lot of things I say ain't gonna be popular like that. You know what I'm talking about? Whoo, you better say that, Letitia. Knowledge without wisdom and understanding is just information. True indeed. True indeed. The spirit has to be ready to tap in. For sure. All right, what other questions do I have? Or do we have anybody else that want to come on 101? Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping. Peace, Katrina. Excuse me. But that's the way it was designed. Big data, big facts. That's the way it was designed. People are more wrapped up in the world because that's the way the world has made it. You know what I mean? Like, I've been on record saying social media was a big cause of that for a lot of people. If it ain't trending, it's not important. If it's trending, it's important. The prime example of that was they went from the COVID to the monkeypox. And now you don't hear about neither or. You feel me? But at the time, that was the biggest thing. That's all people were wrapped up in. Oh, man, COVID. Oh, man, monkeypox. You know what I mean? Now it's this dude getting arrested, the Tate. I've seen that on YouTube. So I guess that's a big topic now. Whatever, a little bit ago, it was Kanye. They understand how to manipulate your energy and have you focus externally. As long as you're looking on social media and following the news, social media news and stuff like that, like, you'll always be looking out externally. It's easy to look outside yourself and be like, man, this person is wrong or they should be doing this. Like, you would look at celebrities like, oh, man, they need to be giving back to the Black community more, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? But what are you doing? And even if you are doing something, then that doesn't give you the right to tell someone else how to move. You notice a lot of time I got people who pay me and people who invest in me, and I would still give my perspective. I don't say you need to do this. Every once in a while, if I'm really working closely with somebody, I'll be like, yo, you playing yourself. You really need to do this. But that's very far and few between. For the most part, I just give suggestions. because the person has to internalize this thing and be like, man, I want to move that way because I feel like I need to move that way. Like a perfect example with our youngest son, I've been doing my best to get him to find another job, but I had to get him to the point where he wants to do it on his own. So now he wants to do it. I don't have to be like, you need to do this, he wants to do it. And that's when the switch goes off. As parents, we want to force our children to do something, but when they want to do it, it's going to be way more effective. So you have to be a master communicator, master motivator to help people tap into themselves. You know what I mean? That's the punchline of that. So let's get to the next person. I believe this is Ari or Ari. You're live on the Life Review podcast. Can you hear me? Yo, we got a baby delay. Ari or Ari? Can you hear me? Oh, no, we ain't doing that. Appreciate that, Bryce. Bryce Bennett. And love to you as well. All right, what else we got cracking? I don't have any questions or callers. I'm gonna end this joint. You feel me? I gave the message that I was led to give today. So y'all know me, I don't beat a dead horse, or don't like beating a dead horse. So if we don't have any other questions or any other callers, I'm gonna go ahead and end this thing. And sorry about that area. I don't know what the connection was. Okay, yeah, I don't see any questions or any other callers. So remember to go to l9shop.com, el9shop.com. If you want to support the podcast, you want to support my workers, that is our online store with me and Sunset Ray. We make products. We sell some of the hard to find metaphysical products, things that you can use on your path so you can support yourself and support us as well. If you mess with my energy, you like the way I get down, you want to join a community of like-minded people, I created a community called the Spiritual Mastery Accelerator. You can find all the information at spiritualaccelerator.com. That's something I've been doing, I want to say like 3 years now. I'm not good with linear time, but I think it's been a few years. Some of the most genuine connections and genuine down-to-earth spiritual people you will ever met. We have a tight-knit community. I don't like talking people into it, so I always recommend that you go to spiritualaccelerator.com, read the information, read everything. If it resonates with you, then you can join us and be an accelerator member. And if you would like a one-on-one private consultation with myself, you don't want to talk to me in front of everybody else, you have some things you want to speak with someone who is a professional, a spiritual professional out here that's helped people for many years, go to indraali.com, click on consultation. You can set up a time to speak with me. I usually get back and schedule people within 1 week, so you can talk to me within a week. All right, so this has been Indra Ali. Shout out to Sunset Ray. Shout out to my other moderators. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's going to listen to this on the playback. Let's go into this new year, quote unquote, with intent to just really advance on our spiritual path, to really put ourselves forward, to really tap into our inner parts of ourselves, the things that really been holding us back. Let's get rid of it. Let's really grow spiritually, financially, physically, and mentally, and emotionally. Let's really tap into it, family. And until next time, y'all, peace.